All right, I've seen a lot of funny things in the football world, but this has to be one of the top. This is about a story of a footballer almost getting scammed for $14,000 by an agent in Spain who's not even Spanish. He's from India. You never would have guessed, almost as trustworthy as a Nigerian prince begging you to help him accept his Bitcoin. All right, so in this video, I'm going to cover some things about agents, about contracts, about academies, and the whole pay-to-play system, which originally it was only in America where you had to pay money to be in an academy. But of course, in certain countries in Europe where they have good clubs, like in Spain, all the foreigners from outside Europe want to go to Spain and they want to sign pro. So of course, there's some mid-tier to low-tier Spanish clubs with low-quality individuals that are offering the chance of a lifetime to pay them a lot of money in order to practice with their reserve team, basically, or practice with their international team of other guys that are not even pros, that are not even close to going pro, that are at the academy. At the end of the video, I'll explain more about what happened with actually one of our clients last week in the Total Footballer program. But for now, I want to explain some very, very important announcements. If you're a footballer, do not pay an agent up front. Do not. There's no agent where you pay them before they do any work. Agents get paid on a portion of the contract that they get a deal for you. When an agent gets you a deal to sign a pro contract at an actual pro club, that's when you give them 3% or 5% or sometimes up to 10% depending on what kind of contract it is. That's how it works. You do not pay an agent from India $14,000 before he's done anything. And the contract itself doesn't even have the guy's name on it. It has some fake group at the bottom. So there's nothing actually tying the contract back to the person individually. All right? The agent does the work to get you the trial because he believes in your talent and he believes in your ability and thinks you have potential. Then when you sign pro, he gets his payout for showing the trust and belief in you from the off. All right, number 2, do not pay for a transfer market account or a transfer market profile. This is extremely shady and is not how football works. Even if you have a transfer market profile, if you have no actual team of note, of standing, and no stats on there, it doesn't mean anything, doesn't help anyone. It only makes you look like you paid for it. It's the same thing on Instagram, buying fake followers. It's obvious that you're desperate for the status of what followers brings with it. So don't do it. Save your money and invest it, like I'll cover in this video. Invest it in the bottleneck, in the bottleneck that is stopping you from signing pro. All right, number 3. Do not sign a contract with anybody before a lawyer or a responsible adult reads the contract. Because this contract that one of our clients had with this supposed agent, he signed it and it was there. Now, of course, the contract really is not valid because the other person didn't have their name on it, just their group. So the contract is made up anyways. But point being, do not sign something if you do not have a lawyer or a responsible adult that is representing you. Read the contract first. Just do not sign anything before someone reads it that knows what they're talking about. Okay, last warning, last announcement, last rule. If you're a footballer, or in fact, if you're just anybody, do not go to the apartment of a stranger, of an adult stranger promising you things. Do not go to the apartment of an agent that tells you he'll get you a pro contract. Let him talk to you on WhatsApp. Do not go to his apartment. For those in the back, don't go to the apartment. Please, do not go to the apartment of a stranger. I've said it like 5 times now. All right, so anyways, moving on from the concept of contracts and agents, let's talk about the pay-to-play academies that are most notable in Spain. We've had clients from Football Entangled play at academies around Barcelona, Valencia, Levante, Marbella, Malaga area, all along the south coast. Some, I think, in Madrid as well. Now, some of them are great, and they provide a valid service of giving a chance. But the chance isn't really what you're paying for. More so, you're paying for just being in the environment of a professional so-called team and being around coaches that have connections to get you to play on teams in the area. So there's a few agencies, so-called agencies. They're kind of like academies, but there's two different variations. You have an actual club that's, I don't know, third, fourth, fifth tier, whatever. They have their own international academy where foreigners pay money to go live and play and train at this academy of that club. These are usually scams. Looking like, okay, they aren't scams per se because you do get to go live there and play there, but you're playing on sometimes the B team or the C team of the U20, of the U23, or something like that, where you have there's no realistic path to the first team. They're just milking you for money because you're paying $1K, $2K a month, something around there. If you're paying more than that, it's way too much money. Now, there's the other variation where it's an agency where they have contacts at a bunch of clubs in the area, second division, third division, fourth, fifth, sixth, whatever, and they match you with what is realistic for your current level of ability. Now, I still, like me personally, I don't recommend these academies to anybody, but if you're gonna do it and you want to go for it, these agencies where you train with the agency and then they place you on a local team that matches your ability so that you can get playing time and start matches, that is reasonable. And you are paying a fee because they are providing a valid service. They are providing the training, the coaching on the ground, which sometimes is good or bad, but that's not what you're paying for really. You're just paying for the connection and the placement onto a local team, the pipeline. Otherwise, you're just some random foreigner, okay? And they might help you with a student visa or a coaching visa to live in Spain or the other country longer than your tourist visa. Those that don't know, usually tourist visas in Spain or other European countries are usually 3 months. So if you overstay it, officially you are overstaying the visa, and that could cause you to have to pay some fees and fines and maybe put like a stamp on your passport that says you overstayed the visa, and that could be harmful for you in the long term. But anyways, usually some of these agencies, they'll help you get a long-term visa to stay in the country and play with the academy or with the agency and get placed on a local team where you can get minutes and do that whole thing. Now, that's all great. For me, it's okay. And the prices for those kind of agencies I've seen range from $1,000-$2,000 a month, and that's fair. And usually that it might include housing if you go with the housing that they provide, but sometimes you can pay separately and pay a lower fee and then pay for your own housing, and obviously that involves you going and finding it on your own, and of course food and all that stuff. Those are your two variations of pay-to-play academies/agencies that are available in countries like Spain. Me personally, in my line of work, I've really been what one could call overexposed to these academies/agencies in Spain. I haven't seen very much in Italy, France, or Germany, Holland, Denmark, those kind of countries. For some reason, it's a thing in Spain. Now, if you're talking to an agent and the agent says, you pay me $2K or $3K, and then I'll take you and get you a trial somewhere, I think that is close to a scam. Now, what my client dealt with this past week, that was more of a bona fide scam because it was an Indian person that is in Madrid somehow with some made-up group with a weird contract with an exorbitant price and very vague obligations in the contract that don't hold the group tied to anything objective. But if you're talking to an actual agent that has an actual proven track record, I still would be very weary because a real agent would never ask you for money up front. That would only be a lower level so-called shady agent that that wants to get paid. Now, there's another one of these academies called Soccer Visa that's now in Romania. And I've heard good things from a few of my clients that have spent time with Soccer Visa. Now they own a professional team in Romania in the third division playing actual first team men's football, which is great. Before they were in Costa Rica doing something similar. I've heard good things from clients of mine that have been there. I don't know their prices. I've never looked into physically sending clients of mine to them, but I've heard decent things. So if you had to choose one of these options, I'd probably go with Soccer Visa over one of these shady agents that wants you to pay 4 or 5K up front or even more, like we've shown in this example. Now, let's get on to the more important stuff. The true bottleneck that is holding players back from actually signing pro contracts. Because let's face the reality, if you had the best agent in the world, you would still have to perform on the football pitch. And if it was obvious that you were not anywhere near the level of the team that the agent brought you to, you would never get anywhere close to the pitch, let alone a pro contract. So the bottleneck isn't connections or politics or any of the other BS that people use as cope to rationalize why they're not good enough to play high-level pro football. The reality is you have to get better at football, and you would naturally have agents and scouts come to you and say, hey, let me take you to this club, I'll get you signed, and then I'll take a percentage of the contract, because that's how it really works in the football industry. Work on your talent, become better. Become more skilled as a footballer and perform. If you were scoring hat tricks every game, you would have agents emailing you, calling you, all that stuff, and you wouldn't be having to email people going out of your way and chasing down and being so desperate and trying to literally pay 14K to an Indian guy in Madrid to get you a pro contract at, I don't even know, maybe a fourth division team in Spain, which is laughable. That is the core message for today. Now, my client has learned a lot of good stuff about contracts and agents in the football world in this experience. If you're looking to fix that bottleneck and become a top performer at the sport of football, then join my program, Total Footballer. We take college, academy, and semi-professional footballers and make them elite using the 5 pillars of talent. If you already are a professional footballer, send me an email at taylor@footballentangled.com. I work one-on-one privately with some of the world's most talented footballers across the world that want to prevent and fix injury, that want to transform their energy levels and become a world-class player that is dominating in the Champions League and earning high-value, long-term contracts at the highest level, and frankly, enjoying the beautiful game. I'm Taylor, and I'll see you guys on the next one very soon. Don't sign contracts before you have an adult read them. Cheers.